Albany, New York.
Rapping in New York.
You hear me?
Albany, New York.
ALB, ANY. I'm from ALB, ANY. I'm from ALB, ANY.
Okay. Welcome today to Mount High Radio. This is another episode of the Streets to Entrepreneurs, but we are on Mount High Radio. So this is for all of our listeners to listen on whatever streaming radio station that you use. So if you're in your car, you can go to Cyrus FM and listen to the Streets to Entrepreneurs on Mount High Radio. And now we all across the world, people. So today I want to talk about what made me stop being a street nigga and selling drugs and shit and get into being a full-time entrepreneur and creating content based on my life story, music, books, etc. And I want to talk about that because right now we're going through a lot in this world. And I want to get into like a lot of people that probably know me personally, probably like, damn, I changed and I'm a whole new person. And a lot of people and a lot of my peers, especially males, be stuck and don't know how to change, don't know how to give up certain ways that are not beneficial or longevity wise. So today I want to get into what made me stop being a street nigga and be a full-time entrepreneur and content creator. Stay tuned for more from the Streets to Entrepreneurs, and we on Mount High Radio today. And shout out my co-host, Kulture. Okay, we back, people. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, let's get into what made me stop being a street nigga and really understanding that I could take this talent of hustling and selling and really apply it to something long-term, longevity, and beneficial to me and my family and peers. Let's get into like a little bit of a background story on what really snapped my brain. So of course, you know, dealing with the streets, everybody done been in some type of, let's say, police or lockup, institutionalized situation, whether you go to jail, prison, or, you know, whatever the case may be, the feds. So during my adolescent years, I went through a lot of trouble with the law. And during that trouble, one thing I taught myself and learned from my uncle and a lot of militant black brothers was that you can make a positive out of a negative. So I'm like, I gotta go to jail. How can I make this better than what it is, so to say? So what I first did was, and most people, well, I don't know, you know, people going to jail now different, was work out. Work your body out. Become physically strong. Why? Because you might have to defend yourself in a hostile situation in close quarters, or just naturally you now have the time to work on perfecting one of the biggest living organisms on the human body, which is your body. So second, after that, your brain. Usually most people go to jail and get some type of information and knowledge from reading books, studying, schooling, new religions and stuff like that. So for me, I never really read and did like stuff like that in school, but I always barely managed to pass. So I told myself like, yo bro, I can make this into a positive. Let me just start studying and learning stuff that I ain't never learned, or how they would say, you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. So I learned first and early on that the real enemy and oppressors wasn't us or my kind. It was the people that was locking us up for this and doing the same thing but wasn't going to jail or getting locked up. That, you feel me, that was one of my first eye openers, like believing like, oh, cause I'm from the hood or poverty or certain situations like parents, whatever, that I'm supposed to be like this. Like I'm supposed to be in the hood, I'm supposed to be selling drugs, whatever the case may be. No, that's not true. So I started thinking like, who the hell keeps telling me that this is how I'm supposed to be? Cause it ain't coming from my grandmama and my peers, cause we all fucked up. We all try to get right or barely manage or be content with our living situation. It wasn't that. So I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of the ethnicity or the demographic. Everybody know where I'm getting at. So I started reading. You know, everybody read their hood books and stuff like that. Then I wound up meeting a brother. And the brother was like, yo, I don't got no hood books. I'm like, I don't read just hood books. I read a lot of things. So he gives me Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And from there, that book opened my mind up to understanding the mentality instead of like yearning, like I want to like get in it and learn this information to get money. I want to be like Trump or I want to be in the stock market. It wasn't really that based on that book or the eye opener of that information. And then on top of that, how like the brother approached me like, yo bro, I don't read no hood books, you know, because I'm younger. But the Rich Dad Poor Dad book was a mentality on how you see yourself in certain situations. So pertaining to, let's say, business or money, how do you see yourself? People be feeling like they are, let's say, due to society in a hierarchy of a situation. But then if society sweeps that position from under your feet, like fired or you get sick, you ask that because you don't own nothing. Then the people around you start to change and become different. And it gets into a lot. We're not going to get into that. So if you want to get in, that's one of my books that I tell people to read that I like. So after reading that, I got into more studying of books on money, business, and pertaining to, let's say, the shit they was doing and not getting locked up for or getting a little bit of time for going to the feds. Like white collar crimes. Like another mind and another change was when Bernie Madoff got locked up and stole $6 million or $8 billion or whatever from all of these top rich companies, and he got like 10 years and they never even got the money back. They gave me 5 years for a $40 crack set. We're not gonna even go into that one. So as I started to read, I started to redevelop myself, because in these books they tell you that you have to redevelop yourself, remake yourself. You are not who you are when you was born, or let's say when you was a teenager or a boy. So at certain ages, you can still reinvent yourself into a new person, new way of thinking, new way of movements, health-wise, speaking, all type of stuff. So I started to practice on that, like understanding words, what they meant, what did money mean, where did it come from, who controls this, how are they getting away with this? So I started learning, studying the legal system, law system. It's all words and books. So it was like I didn't really need to go to college or something. I could self-teach myself this and then just ask somebody that's a little bit smarter to tell me what I'm missing. So, long story short, I wound up going to same correctional facility, which was a max, and I was a level medium, but a whole bunch of technicalities into that. And I wound up getting cool with a white boy, right? And I used to always watch him and pay attention to him because he seemed like he wasn't like one of those white boys, like you could say that got money or something, but you could tell like he came from something. Me and him finally getting cool, and I'm gonna put this out there too. Shout out my boy Reddy, right? And rest in peace the other one, but Reddy Rod at Raps. We first wrote a rap, and yes, I'm saying this. And no lie, that was one of my opener raps for every time I got into a rap battle, because that's when I really started doing my little rapping thing. It was up north, right? It was if you don't remember back when Reddy first came out, I spit that ghetto crack, and I let the metal clap. It hit your head and back, you'd be dead as a rap, bruh. We ain't gonna go into that. We're gonna do another episode on that. So we wound up getting cool. We was going on visits. So he finally tell me like, yo, bro, I'm gonna ask him like, yo, what you in here for? So he like, I ain't in here for really nothing. I ain't supposed to be here. I'm like, what you mean by that? He like, yeah, I got a 1.5 flat. I'm like, damn, bro, why the fuck they give you a 1.5? A 1 and 1 flat? What you do? You do a 1.5 years and then you get a year parole. He like, they did it because they couldn't really do nothing with my case, so they wanted to be assholes. So I'm like, what you in for? He like, I stole $500,000. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So you telling me they gave you 1 year, so to say, for stealing $500,000, $500,000? Like, yeah. And they only got probably like $50,000 back. So I'm like, what? No lie, right then and there, I knew that I was in the wrong lifestyle and lane. I knew that the shit they was telling me and us and teaching us was all bullshit. And then when he started getting into the dynamics of his case, how we got caught red-handed, and then he started showing me like, yo, bro, they couldn't even really do nothing. Like, I still got 20-something ATVs, I got a big-ass house, my wife and kids is good, and we was young at the time. This nigga was like 25 maybe. After that, bro, no lie, I just studied business, law, stocks, trust funds, everything. When then you know it's funny, because one of my top readers was Donald Trump. Ain't that funny? He did a book with Yao Kawasaki. He did mad books. And I studied them because Donald Trump never had a good venture. Like, he never was a successful deal maker. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna buy into this because he and then that shit about to shoot up. No. Everything this nigga got his hands in failed or went bankrupt. But still, somehow, people gave this man millions upon millions of dollars. So, you look forward now, and he was our president. So you gotta think like, damn, if I was studying the same shit this nigga was, nigga, I might have become the president because this nigga ain't shit. Sorry, Trump, I didn't mean to say that. But, dead ass. So, on top of that, right? That wasn't just the one thing that made me really be like, I'm giving up with the hood, the street stuff. I was just like, let me get into it, let me learn it, let me start applying it. So I started doing my own businesses, DBAs. I started getting around my sister and other peers that was into businesses. So I started to learn and study and get around people that were already into businesses and stuff. So I started offering my services for free, like painting, cleaning, little construction and labor. Shout out my girl Sierra, my older sister, and everybody that helped me during my times, you know, trying to do my own little labor work. But after that, it was watching a lot of my peers and schoolmates die, right? And this is what's the funny. I won't say funny, but this would really like push me over the edge. Like, yo, bro, I'm on a whole different mindset. And this is what made me start delivering content and getting over, let's say, the fear of showing my face, dealing with the, let's say, what people say on the internet, your background and history from the hood, and who want to say bad things and say stuff about you, whatever the case may be. That's what stops a lot of people, especially in our community. But I said, I'm going to get over that. I'm going to figure out a way, because now I'm like, I'm on a phone to where now this alleviates a lot of stuff. So let me figure out how I can make money from this phone and these laptops. And then in successive, and let's say business books or entrepreneur books, they always tell you a way to come out with something to, let's say, a business idea or a product that make money would be to tell your story. Whether you're doing it in a book, motivational speaking, or a podcast like we're doing now. But there's multiple ways that you can start out from just your story. So I'm like, all right, my bro doing music, and I'm noticing that people are not monopolizing content or the internet. It's like the same way that PlayStation innovated and upgraded to the PlayStation we got now. The same thing applies to us and whatever your hustle or talent is. You have to stay up to date and upgrade with the times. So if you're not on the internet using streaming platforms or know the system behind it, then you're not gonna really get nowhere. So I'm like, let me be this and let me start doing like funny videos, like when G-Unit first came out with G-Unit mixtapes and they was remixing everybody's songs. Let me write a book or whatever. But why was, let's get back to the why. After watching so many of my peers die, let's say the hood peers, like the gangster ones, and now you gotta think a lot of these brothers got kids and stuff like that. A lot of these brothers ain't even been doing the gangster shit that they supposedly were known for. Died, right? Got killed. Died, got killed, whatever the case may be. And every time you get on social media or you hear about these males, peers, and the people from our community that died, you always hear these fake ass gangster stories or these hood stories or these misinformed stories from people. And in my head, I'm like, damn, he might have died young, or a person might be in that mentality, I'm a shooter, gangster, whole block, right? But if you got kids and real family and you start to get older, I don't think that that's the story you want projected. Get what I'm saying? Like if I die tomorrow, do I want people to just be going back and all over social media and in my family and my kids as they babies are growing up like, yeah, your father was a shooter. Oh, your father was a money getter, girl. And what makes it worse, right? Niggas don't got nothing to show for it. Like 80% of the people that go out like this don't even have money for a funeral. But everybody, is so-called family and friends, is running around buying balloons, candles, memorial shirts. Oh, that boy was running in the spots. But you niggas can't even pay for a funeral. Like, niggas' kids is fucked up after they gone if they was the breadwinners because the average female don't know nothing. Or nigga ain't put them on, or it's a whole bunch of in-between stuff. So, to me it was like, if I die, who do I want to tell my story, or how do I want my story to be told? I'm like, the best person to tell my story would be me. And how can I do it? So I'm like, every natural talent or attribute or idea or dream that I had, I said, let me put it into effect. Let me start recording myself. Let me start making music and stuff. And now, if something do happen to me, people can actually go back. As long as the internet alive, or I save it in some type of format, or I got a book, that you can hear the story from the horse's mouth. You can see like, all right, I wrote this book in 2019. Like, what was he going through? You could read it. Like, started making songs, so now you could be like, damn, why did he make that song, or where it is coming from? You could be like, oh, I could go back and be like, oh, bro was really trying to do something different from actual facts and actions instead of a person saying that they are. Or we gonna get there, or it's about to be that time. No, the time is now. So if you got a story and you ain't disabled, you can type it out now. You can record it now. You can pull your resources together and get it done. So that's why I really got into making content, because I didn't want nobody else to tell my story but me. And now you can actually see it, hear it, and feel it. Now if something do happen to me, you ain't like, oh, 2010 I was running around shooting, but I died in 2025 and I was running 2 businesses, but you still talking about me when I was a shooter or something. No. Talk about the change for the better of me. If somebody died, don't bring up what they used to do. Bring up what you remember them doing now. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I got into content creation. That's why I stopped dealing with the streets. And this is why now I'm pumping this to my peers and leaving this record. So now, like I said, I'm telling you my story, and we can all, go through this journey together little by little to understand who I am. And then maybe this will help you understand who you are and what you want to do. And that's basically it for today. We're not going to drag this out long. Thank you for tuning in to Mile High Radio and the Streets to Entrepreneurs. But basically, that's what it is. Today we talked about how we changed from being, not losing the street, but understanding the risk that came with certain, let's say, things that you do in that lifestyle that does not benefit the whole. Thank you for tuning in today. Go download my book, 12 Poems. It's on Amazon, Kindle. We got the Poop Link NFTs coming up. We got some crypto courses and PDFs and ebooks. Go to the website and stay tuned for more. And please pray for anybody that's going through it right now. Thank you.
He asked me who I do it for. I tell him I did it for the Jets. Did it for the street. I did it for them.